I'm Dr. Srinivasan, and I have recently published a book titled Peking at Peking. In this episode, I would like to briefly present some insights into that book. China, as we know, has held the attention of the world for millennia. The ancient China, through Silk Route, remained connected to every single part of the then known world. The prosperity and the wealth of the Chinese people was a matter of great excitement and attraction in the world that existed at that time. But apart from the ancient historical China, the modern China that we see today continues to invite the curiosity of not just visitors, but also geopolitical and strategic analysts because of the amazing and expansive manner in which China has come to, shall we say, dominate certain aspects of the world that we are living in today. Post Cold War saw the emergence of a de facto unipolar world order. But then 20 years after the collapse of the Soviet Union, USSR, today we are seeing a China which is truly challenging United States and the developed West in practically every manner that we can possibly conceive of, whether it is in terms of technology, whether it is in terms of economy, whether it is in terms of trade, whether it is in terms of every other dimension that matters to the composite world that we live in. But then what has made this China into what it is today? Is it merely the philosophies propagated by Mao? Is it just a mere aspiration to drive itself to be the best in the world? Or is it guided by an intention to dominate the world affairs? Is China a hegemon? We don't know. No one can give a definitive answers, but then such questions continue to challenge the minds of strategic analysts and thinkers all over the world. My book attempts to understand China from a slightly different perspective. The perspective is rather pretty simple, I'll put it that way. Drawing upon a historical analysis method, I look into China, not at China. I look into China to see why China does what it does in the manner in which it does. Are there certain, shall we say, historical forces driving it? We do not know. But then my research says that China is indeed drawing upon its millennia old history and using those lessons for driving its ambitions in every sphere of life. Insofar as India is concerned, we are all aware that India and China started off practically on a honeymoon. From 1949 to 1959, almost, Hindi Chini bye bye, India, China are brothers was the slogan that danced on the lips of everyone who mattered in both the countries. But then 1962 happened. And in 1962, China came, gave a nice tight slap across the political face of India, and before a consolidated response could evolve from India, it withdrew, declared a unilateral ceasefire, and it withdrew. Why did it do so? Countries which go to war and who are winning those wars are quite unlikely. Rather, it is not expected that they will give up their battlefield victories just like that. China gave up. It declared unilateral ceasefire even before India could get its act together and went back. So was there any other compulsion on China? That was one question which definitely prompted me to look inside what we call as the political stability factor in China. And the answers that I found are rather interesting. And those answers clearly point to one single factor which says that China's internal dynamics do matter insofar as dealing with India is concerned. In the same way, we are all aware that in Galwan, they took months to build up to Galwan. And when the Galwan incident took place, they just took 2 days to disappear from there. Why did they do so? But then the agreement to withdraw, we are all aware, was only a facade. The postscript of Galwan shows that we were made to withdraw from China's ranges. And today China has gone ahead, started building villages and bridges across Pangang. So it was only a temporary sort of a relief. Yeah, we can give ourselves a good, huge pat for having acted so determinedly. But acting so determinedly has not produced the kind of permanency in the effect that we should have got. So why did China do so again? Were there other compulsions? How has China gone about building its creditable maritime prowess? Today, even the United States openly acknowledges that Chinese maritime prowess is credible. And this just started in 1996. In a matter of just 2 decades, they have built a navy, have built 2 aircraft carrier groups, which are holding the attention of the world in the SCS. How did they manage to do? And in cyberspace, we are all aware that China practically permeates into the world in every direction. With 147 countries as part of its Belt Road Initiative, the PRI, China has one of the biggest conglomeration of countries in alliance with it. Whether we like the methodologies that it applies or not, but the fact is that there are 147 countries in the BRI program. Again, we are seeing the ability of China to uh, come up with institutions, okay, like for example SCO, which have shown stupendous growth in their outreach. The ability to build institutions across countries, whether it is not just SCO alone. Look at RCEP. RCEP has already engulfed the entire ASEAN and it's gone beyond. It has taken in Australia and Japan also. And RCEP is poised to become probably one of the biggest economic cooperative networks in the world. Will it happen tomorrow or will it happen after 10 years is a question of, I say, patience. We have to wait and see. But the fact is the ability to build such institutions, despite being, you know, pointed fingers at for various things, human rights violations and Uyghur suppression and denial of freedom and whatever else we can level across against China. Its ability to build institutions is truly a matter for intensive study. These and such other questions I have dealt with through a series of articles and research papers over a period of 2 years. And at the end of that, I have taken the step forward to compile them into this volume titled Peking at Peking. We are all aware that Peking is also one of the ancient names of the capital of China, which we call as Beijing. It used to be known as Nanking and Peking earlier. I do hope that this book receives attention of students, scholars, and the researcher community. And I sincerely hope that the inputs given therein help us to understand China better and also to further our research in understanding that country which is all set to dominate the world affairs for quite some time to come. Thank you very much.